Scientists are wicked, right? They spend their whole life going, what could I do? Like, what if we tried this? How could I solve a problem by doing this? So they're always inventing new ways to solve problems. And that's what we do as writers. As creative writers, every story has a problem, right? Every story has to have something go wrong. So if your story doesn't have anything go wrong, it's going to be a very boring story. And if your character just finds the solution to that problem straight away, that's also going to be a pretty boring kind of a story. They're like, oh, the end of the world is coming. That's okay, I've got an umbrella. My umbrella will save us from the end of the world. Hooray! It's a boring story. But if your character has to invent an umbrella that will save them from the end of the world, and if they try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, that is the scientific method, right? Trying something and learning from what happens. If it fails, you still learn from it. If it succeeds, you still learn from it. So if the end of the world is coming and you need to invent an umbrella that will protect you from the end of the world, your character should try a few different ways of doing that. And my favorite example, my real life example that I adore for explaining how inventions and how scientific method works is an inventor called Franky Zapata. So he's the guy, I don't know if you remember last year sometime, he's the guy who invented the hoverboard, like this awesome kind of hoverboard thing that, just like in Back to the Future, he strapped himself on and he went all the way from France to England, across the channel, on this hoverboard going doo-doo-doo-doo, right? And everyone went, wow, you're amazing, Franky, you're amazing. He invented it himself. He was first into, what are those little things you use to zoom around on the ocean? Jet skis. He was into jet skis. And then he thought, what if I could have this feeling in the air? And he invented this hoverboard. But it didn't just go from an idea to massive international success overnight. He tried and failed and tried and failed. And he did this publicly as well. So if you can imagine all of the world's media all looking at Franky Zapata as he said, today I will attempt to fly from France to England on my homemade hoverboard. And he took off and he got halfway across. And because there's not enough fuel in this thing to go all the way, he had to land on this sort of floating island in the middle of the channel. And there were big waves on that day. And so he was like, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. And when he tried to land on it, it wasn't there. The wave moved it across and he splashed into the water. And guess what? His homemade hoverboard was not waterproof. And so we had to do the whole thing again 2 weeks later with a brand new hoverboard. And this time the world's media were there and there was no mistake. And he became this sort of overnight hero success. So I think that's a really cool example of an invention that doesn't work straight away, but that helps you get where you want to be at the end. So if you are using an invention in your story, don't solve the problem straight away. Don't get straight to that solution. Make it difficult for your character. Make it really tricky.